Nigeria, welcome to a brand new edition of Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. It's Tuesday, October the 28th of October 2025, and I am Samson Balogun. Glad to be your companion this morning as we bring you another round of stories that matter, issues that shape our nation, and conversation that inspire the action.
Definitely, and I am Anolu Akpoido. Wherever you are joining us from today, your living room, office, or on the move, we're delighted to start your morning with energy, insight, and balance. This is where your day begins, informed.
Right, here's what we have ahead of us today on this show. First up is Daybreak Gist. The legal spotlight shines bright on the court summons key national figures. Former River State Governor Nyesom Wike, ex-Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma, former Chief of Army Staff Tuku Buratai, and Imo State Governor Hope Usodima, among others, to appear as witnesses in the ongoing case involving IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Exactly, 21 of them. It's a story that's bound to stir deep political and legal debates, questions about justice, power, and accountability in Nigeria's complex judicial landscape. We'll be breaking it down right here.
Yes, on the show. And after that, we'll bring you the weather update and Daybreak news. Your concise roundup of top headlines across Nigeria and beyond.
Definitely. Then comes our newspaper review and analysis. Analyst Victor Akinleyin, who will help us decode the stories making the front pages and what it means for everyday Nigerians.
Right, and for today's big story, we dive into a topic that concerns every one of us in the digital space. Building cyber hygiene, practical steps to protect yourself in the digital age. It's all about how to stay safe online and the everyday habits that build strong cyber hygiene in an era where your data is just as valuable as your identity.
I'm particularly interested in that.
Right.
Joining us for that conversation is cybersecurity analyst Isaac Afolabi, a digital defense expert working with an international organization to safeguard critical systems and data. Beyond his professional expertise, Isaac is a passionate advocate for cybersecurity awareness. Through community outreach and media engagement, he has educated thousands and thousands more on practical ways to stay online.
Wow.
His mission: making cybersecurity knowledge accessible and empowering everyone to take charge of their digital safety.
That's one conversation you don't want to miss on this show this morning, because in today's world, digital safety isn't a luxury, it's a necessity.
And of course, we wrap things up with Trend Watch, your pulse on what's buzzing across social media and beyond.
All right, stay with us. It is Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, where information meets insight and every story comes alive.
Your perfect day starter. Let's get started this morning.
We really have to get started.
Good morning to you,
Good
Samson,
morning.
this
Good to have you on the show.
I mean, I'm pumped for that particular interesting conversation with digital experts. You know, I need to know some things.
It's one conversation that everyone will have to be a part of.
Very
you have
important.
to stay tuned and keep it locked right there, because it's really going to be interesting.
Definitely.
And particularly this morning, we're talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his list of 21 of them witnesses that we would love to see in court to be his witnesses. And you know, it's something really interesting to see that long list. Most of them, all of them, they're actually big names in the political landscape in Nigeria. I mean, Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, and you are talking about T.Y. Danjuma, of all people. I mean, that's something really interesting right there. And most definitely, Nyesom Wike, who is the former governor of River State. He's still the minister of FCT, even though he was a former minister before he became minister of the FCT. If you're talking about these names, you would understand the fact that there are so many people who Nnamdi Kanu wants to have, in court with him to be his witness. But then the question is, will they be there? Well, they have to, because the court has summoned them. And you cannot. I think that was last week. Nyesom Wike was saying the only reason he will be in court as a witness in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case is he was subpoenaed by the court, and now he has it. He has to be there.
Well, definitely. Different ways to see this conversation. I was trying to check at, maybe just to start with, let me jump on the bandwagon of many people saying that this has become one too many. You know, the issue of court cases pending in court has become a a dime a dozen. We see it almost every time. It's become just too rampant. We see it everywhere. You know, I was trying to check, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, about 243,000 cases are currently pending in court as of 2024. MBS quoted. When I saw that quote, I was like, okay, good. So what does this mean for an average? So if we have 243,000 cases waiting or pending or waiting for judgment, what does this speak about the judicial system, the judiciary of the government in the country? Not so much, not so well, you would say. But again, to also consider the fact that these people have been summoned according to what Kano, gave us his witnesses. Now, we understand now from what we've seen development that is now is the lawyer of his own case, is the counsel.
He fired his lawyers and said, look, I want to handle my case myself.
Exactly. So yesterday, I think it was also held by Ikweazu, one of the lawyers also inside that courtroom, where that one was telling him to tell the court, or was praying the court to say, this guy needs some time to get his facts correctly. He needs some time to make up his case.
He refused to open defense
yesterday.
Yeah.
Because he does it. So he was asking for, I think that was what he prayed also.
I think he was making a claim about there is no case against me. I mean,
he mentioned like four of them, to say that there was a particular court ruling that said it should be released. The court countered it to say that is not true, exactly from what we've seen, because there's another superior court that said this should be done. So we've seen all of that in the space. But again, to say that, why is it taking forever to get into the heart of this issue? Why is it taking forever to get to the end of this matter? Maybe political infringement, political inclinations, and all of political interest is still there and whatnot. But again, I want to say that he has called these people. And I wonder, at some point, many of us were questioning, why did he pick all of those people? There are different people that you probably think they would not say yes to his summon. But now it's a court summon, he said, and then let's see if they would attend. But if they attend, because there's only so much we can talk about this issue because it's still pending in court, yeah? So we cannot say some things.
Of course,
but the few things we can say is just to see from the projection, from the look of things, what is likely to happen to this matter. Are they going to, I'm quite sure, and you can hold my word, I'm quite sure 21 of them would not appear in court.
Well, they can't all be in court at the same time.
Some of them will also write the court that they have urgent matters to attend to.
For them to have been subpoenaed, I know that some of them will still go to court and say, look, I cannot be summoned into a case of this kind. And then you mentioned earlier about the fact that some cases are pending in court, and then you reeled out the figures. Yes, it will happen like that, and it is not far-fetched. I think the judiciary is choked somehow. One of the reasons that will happen is that how many courtrooms do we have in each state? That is one. Two, how many judges do we have? We have seen situations where a judge will say, I cannot continue with this case, please assign it to another judge. And then if there's no judge ready to take up that case, it means that that case will be pending in court until someone is interested in that particular case. So these are, and more, are the challenges being faced by the courts. And we have also seen strikes by the JUSUN and some other associations related to court workers and some other things like that. So sometimes these things will take long, not because the judges are not ready to do their job, but because they are overwhelmed. A judge, particularly on a day, doesn't just attend to one case and go home. They attend to so many cases. So there's one sitting after the other, one sitting after the other. And if you check the time is gone. So they have to go home, so they have to rest. So if one of the things that should be done, I think the judicial system in Nigeria, the scope should be expanded one way or the other. There should be more courtrooms, more judges, and most definitely there should be a system to fast-track court cases. And that includes, the police doing their job diligently before charging some cases to court. Prosecutors. If you don't have your facts right and you know that you will not get judgment on time, please make sure you get all the necessary evidences before you take a case to court. Because as long as the judge does not have the conviction to sentence someone, the court will be adjourned. Bring more evidences from your hand, okay, bring more evidences that you did not do it, and then the case will continue to be adjourned and adjourned and adjourned until it will be like, sometimes some people spend more than they should naturally spend in prison while still waiting for judgment. So what will happen to such people? So these are things that really should be attended to. And I know that someone was talking about digitalizing our court system. Yes, which is one thing that should have been done a long time ago. We still see situations where lawyers want to file cases and they still have to go to court with papers. I've seen it happen so many times. So, yes, even if it has been digitalized within the court premises, it should be done outside the court premises. A lawyer should not be in the court just because he wants to file a case. It should be done from the comfort of their offices or their homes, if need be. So these areas should be, these are gray areas that really should be challenged. Because when you get to courtrooms, courts on a typical Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday morning, you realize the majority of the lawyers who will find in there are not ones who have sittings. Some of them only came to file cases, and then you find them in the courts, and then everywhere will be rowdy and like. So if these things are attended to, and this is just one of the brick walls blocking the free flow of court cases.
Let me also cut to the case. Let me cut to the chase of what you've said now to say that should we say challenges faced by the judiciary is just the same that we see across board. Now, this is what I mean. If we have the judiciary not working well, then the executive body cannot even breathe well.
It will not function.
Yes. So if we have all of this together, and in that particular instance that I cited, according to the NBS, to the National Bureau of Statistics, they are, of course, they graded it to criminal cases and then civil cases. We have more civil cases pending. More than the criminal cases. But this is also a thing you might ask questions like, okay, why do we have more civil cases that can just be done in no time?
That can be
but like you mentioned too, we've seen cases where lawyers will be the ones delaying matters. Some of them will come with an affidavit that is not correct. Some of them will come with incomplete files to say, okay, what we are praying the court today, and then the court will, discard that particular judgment and adjourn it in another time. And it's been on and on for a while. But what I want to say is what you said, that the executive arm of the government should ensure to do everything in their possible best. Like you mentioned, infrastructure deficit is there. They don't have structures enough, judges and remuneration as well. All of these things are just as important. They are the learned people.
You see, to buttress your point, yeah. I think, that also takes us to the area of the judiciary being independent away from the executive arm of government. I think that's one of the reasons why the country has refused to grow. And you mentioned we have so many civil cases that are still, so many people languishing in cells and most definitely prisons, and they are still waiting for judgment. Why would that happen? Because most of the judges are overwhelmed by the criminal cases they actually, they face on a daily basis. And if it is, for example, a case that has to do with a politician and someone, you see how it can be fast-tracked. Before, in a blink of an eye, it is done. But check for people who really do not have so much means. You realize the fact that they go back to back, they are going to court. And the case has not yet really been, attended to. So it's a challenge. And unless there is an independent judiciary, nothing will ever happen. Nothing will move on. So it's, I think the judiciary should have a mind of its own. The executive should have a mind of its own until the executive arm of government stop meddling with the affairs of the judiciary. And why is that happen? That's because they finance the judiciary.
I was going to say
as long as they have the leash,
they can, yes.
I mean,
who pays the piper dictates the tune. But let's take it like what you've said now too. There was a time allegations came up on the Minister of the FCT, yeah. Some weekend, I was giving houses and cars to... He
said by the end of 2025, I think, that no judge in the FCT
will be without a house. So that's one of the things. So some have also said...
Sometimes it might seem like he's buying them over.
That's exactly the point.
This is the basic thing that should happen.
Yes.
One, a judge should be comfortable.
Very comfortable.
To avoid bias in any case. Because, for example, you have gone to a judge to bribe. And whatever it is you are bringing to the table, he has already. You'll be contented. And of course, taking that from you will be just, it won't really matter to him. Yeah. So it will be easy for him to reject you when you want to bribe him. But a judge that lacks, I mean, no matter how strong you want to feel, even if you are not going to take it, you might have a second thought.
Definitely.
It will just flash across your mind that you really need this. But, as long as this is still happening, we have to be reminded that judges are also human beings too.
Definitely.
And even lawyers are human beings too. So sometimes when lawyers go to court and then they take wrong documents, just like you said, it is a deliberate attempt to stall the case until they get whatever it is they want to present in court as evidences or, it is on almost everywhere in the world. But cases should be fast-tracked.
Yeah.
And one of the ideal ways to get it done is to make sure that there's a digital system that, you know, caters for this. I mean, after that, there should be a strong firewall anyway, because Nigerians are really, really smart.
Definitely. I mean, just to cap up my thought, everybody's hand must be on deck.
Right.
Everybody's hands must, you know, work, and everybody must put their neck to the work to ensure that we are able to fast track court cases. You know, all of the pending ones, we can do them. There was a time when Kudirat Kekereekun was brought on board. Some people were saying she should take away all the mess, all the malpractices in that particular form. But it's not a one-person job. It's everybody's duty. It's the judiciary, it's the executive, and of course the legislative arm of government to ensure that that is effectively done. So I think one of the things we are also doing from our corners is to tell them that we need processes to be fast-tracked. We need a better judiciary system. And it's not too much to ask, is it?
Well, I think just to cap it and, you know, we move on from this, is there is a usual saying by someone I know that says, everybody's job is nobody's job. So as long as you are involved, play your part. Let the other person, you know, contribute their quota, and you see how far you can go. And that's the way the convenient point will lead this segment of the show this morning. We say thank you for linking up with us. Do well to join us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. You can do same on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel, click on the notification bell, and most definitely when we come online, you'll get a notification. Thank you for being a part of this show. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll take weather report. We'll be back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Welcome back. Time to take weather report on the Star, and of course we'll be starting with the city of Ibadan. As I fondly say, I know just you know say something about that. It is called the ancient metropolitan city of hospitality.
According to something.
All right. So we'll start from Ibadan this morning, and weather is currently cloudy in Ibadan at 25 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning it will be partly cloudy and rise to 29 degrees Celsius in Ibadan. There will be scattered thunderstorms in Ibadan in the afternoon at 31 degrees Celsius, and there's a 47% chance of raindrop. And it will be mostly cloudy in the evening at 25 degrees Celsius and cloudy overnight at 24 degrees Celsius. So if you are in Ibadan, be prepared for likely rainfall in Ibadan in the afternoon.
And of course, like Yemi would say, we'll take a drive now to Osun State, to Osogbo particularly, and weather is cloudy at 24 degrees Celsius. Later in the morning, it's partly cloudy as well at 29 degrees Celsius. Slight variations in the afternoon, 31 degrees Celsius, scattered thunderstorms. And it's mostly cloudy in the evening at 25 degrees Celsius. It will be cloudy overnight at 24 degrees Celsius also in Osogbo, Osun State today.
Right, next up is Ekiti. That's Ekiti State this morning. As weather currently feels like 23 degrees Celsius in Ekiti this morning. Later in the morning, it will be mostly cloudy at 27 degrees Celsius. Just like Ibadan, there will be scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon at 29 degrees Celsius, and a little bit higher than that of Ibadan. There is 55% chance of a raindrop in Ekiti this morning. Later in the evening, it will rise to 24 degrees Celsius and cloudy. Overnight at 23 degrees Celsius, also cloudy, right there in Ekiti today.
And from Ekiti now to the Gateway State, that's Abeokuta this morning. It's Abeokuta South, Ogun State, Nigeria. Weather feels like 25 degrees Celsius across board. Later in the morning, 30 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy. There's a promise of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon at 31 degrees Celsius. Evening, partly cloudy as well, 26 degrees Celsius. And overnight, it's 25 degrees Celsius, cloudy in Abeokuta South, Ogun State today.
Moving on slightly towards the north central this morning, we'll go straight to Ilorin East, Kwara State, and weather currently feels like 24 degrees Celsius, cloudy right there in Abeokuta, in Ilorin this morning. And later in the morning, it will be partly cloudy and rise to 29 degrees Celsius. And it will be mostly sunny in the afternoon at 34 degrees Celsius. Mostly cloudy in the evening at 27 degrees Celsius, and cloudy overnight in Ilorin today at 25 degrees Celsius. You might want to need an umbrella in the afternoon. It will be mostly sunny in Ilorin today.
And Suleja, Niger State, the largest state in Nigeria, the weather feels like 24 degrees Celsius, quite fair today. And in the morning, it moves on to like 28 degrees Celsius and mostly cloudy. And afternoon, 32 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy. It's mostly cloudy also in the evening at 26 degrees Celsius and mostly cloudy overnight at 23 degrees Celsius. Weather is generally fair at 24 degrees Celsius today in Suleja, Niger State.
Right, and we move straight to the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory, this morning, and the weather is currently fair at 24 degrees Celsius right here in Abuja. And later in the morning, it will be mostly cloudy and rise to 29 degrees Celsius. It will be partly cloudy in the afternoon at 32 degrees Celsius. Mostly cloudy in the evening at 26 degrees Celsius, and same mostly cloudy overnight at 24 degrees Celsius in Abuja today.
The weather in Kano Municipal, Kano State, Nigeria is fair today at 20 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning 31 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, and also partly cloudy in the afternoon at 35 degrees Celsius, and a lot of variations also in the evening, 25 degrees Celsius, significant, partly cloudy, and overnight 20 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy as well. The weather is generally fair in Kano today.
All right, moving on to Kaduna, Kaduna State this morning, that's Kaduna South. Weather is currently fair in Kaduna at 21 degrees Celsius right there. It will be mostly cloudy later in the morning at 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy at 33 degrees Celsius in the afternoon, and by evening it will drop to 24 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, and drop further to 21 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy in Kaduna today.
And weather in Port Harcourt today, Rivers State, Nigeria, feels like 21 degrees Celsius, also a bit fair. The variations from morning till night, morning 24 degrees Celsius with a promise of thunderstorms, and afternoon 24 degrees Celsius as well, scattered thunderstorms, and mostly cloudy at 22 degrees Celsius in the evening. Overnight, there's a promise of showers of blessings, I would say, in Rivers State, Port Harcourt today, Nigeria.
All right, that will be all we can take on weather report this morning. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll take the news. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Hello and welcome. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. My name is Anoluapo Idowu. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, has said that the federal government has implemented humanitarian interventions and emergency responses to cushion the effect of the food crisis in the country. This was stated at the distribution of farm inputs to farmers to boost agricultural production and ensure food security. According to him, the present administration has embarked on bold economic reforms designed to stimulate productive capacity, create jobs, and reduce the cost of living. The minister, who was represented by the Director of Extension in the ministry, Ayodele Olawumi, said the ministry has rolled out several programs and projects aimed at addressing the challenges faced by farmers while ensuring that food remains available, accessible, and affordable to all Nigerians. Abubakar added that the administration remained resolute in its commitment to developing the agricultural sector in alignment with its Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has cleared 85 underage candidates who participated in a special screening after scoring high marks in the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, for admission. The board announced the release of the results in a statement by its public communication advisor, Fabian Benjamin. The board also admonished 182 finalist candidates who had a valid reason for missing the final interview to submit a formal request through its support ticketing system under the newly created category titled 2025 Underage Complaint. The Federal Capital Territory High Court in Maitama, Abuja, has adjourned till December 1st for the hearing of a preliminary objection filed by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan in a trial for alleged defamation of Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. The trial judge, Justice Chizoba Oji, fixed the date after the prosecuting counsel, David Kaswe, informed the court that although the matter was scheduled for a hearing of the objection, the prosecution had been unable to serve its response on the defense. Kaswe, however, noted that the response had been filed with the court. Responding, defense counsel Eigioen West Idaosa confirmed that the defense had not received the prosecution's response, noting that none of the defendant lawyers had been served. After listening to both parties, Justice Oji adjourned the hearing of the preliminary objection to December 1st. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has announced the postponement of the screening of aspirants for its 2025 elective national convention, earlier scheduled for Tuesday, October 28, 2025. According to a statement issued by the chairman of the National Convention Organizing Committee and Governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, the exercise was put on hold due to unforeseen circumstances. Fintiri noted that the new date for the screening will be communicated to all aspirants and party members in due course, adding that the committee regretted any inconvenience the postponement might have caused. Oyo State government has announced plans to begin enforcement actions against roadside traders in Ibadan following the expiration of a 2-week ultimatum directing them to vacate major roads and relocate to approved markets. The chairperson of the Oyo State Rule of Law Enforcement Authority, OILA, Honorable Aderonke Adeyemi, while speaking with newsmen, said that the government would soon commence full enforcement of the directive, explaining that the planned clampdown is part of preparations for the imminent opening of the newly upgraded Ibadan International Airport. She added that roadside trading poses safety and environmental risk that must be addressed before the airport's operations begin. According to her, the state government remains committed to promoting order, protecting public infrastructure, and positioning Ibadan as a modern and tourist-friendly city. In business, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has achieved a record-breaking tax collection of 47.3 trillion naira between October 2023 and September 2025. This period is under the current leadership of FIRS Chairman Isaac Adedeji. The tax agency exceeded its revenue target by 15%, according to new performance figures. The FIRS attributed the revenue surge to its sustained reform drive under the leadership of its current management team, including the deployment of digital platforms such as the National Single Window, the National Invoicing System, and improved stakeholder integration. In sports, Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu has said he is expecting a difficult contest against the Amazons of the Benin Republic. Nigeria won the first leg of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifying fixture 2-0 in Lome last Friday. Chiwendu Iezuo and Esther Okoronko scored the goals for the African champions. The reverse fixture will hold at the Moshood Abiola Sports Arena at Belkuta today, and the winner on aggregate will earn a ticket to the WAFCON 2024 finals in Morocco. And that's about it. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And that's Daybreak News. I am Anu Luakbo Ido. Thank you for watching.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
And thank you for staying tuned. It's the newspaper analysis and headlines on this very segment where we check into the print, check the stories, what the stories are saying. The stories are making the rounds, breaking, developing, and trending across the news platforms. Of course, we get into Daily Trust newspaper first. And on the Daily Trust newspaper, farmers and federal government are disagreeing. And you want to ask why? It's over food prices. Now, farmers, federal government disagree over drop in food prices. That's something we've also seen in recent times. We also took the story, as you can see on your page now. It's been a conversation that is ongoing, but farmers and federal government currently at this harmony, as it were, over drop in food prices. Who should be supporting food prices dropping, or we should not? We'll see all of that, and we'll get into some of the analysis shortly. Meanwhile, National Assembly Committee proposes 6 new states. That's the big one also coming. We've seen this story before now. We've expected, some have said is what the country is expecting. Others have said not exactly, because if you give us this, then you should give those people as well. Everybody is looking for a state to have. Maybe we'll get to have some of these reforms soon enough, according to the Senate. Now, the story is that the National Assembly Committee are proposing 6 new states. Maybe it's to start with, because they've said there's about 31 others or some others that they would add to the list. But currently, they want to work on 6 more states. It's a good one, if you ask me. Now, high rent driving us out of Abuja. That's coming from residents also on Daily Trust newspaper this morning. High rent driving us out of Abuja. That's coming from residents. We took the story on the Daybreak Live, I think a couple of days back, and we talked about how much increment has gone over people, and then landlords tenant situation, how the landlords will just give 100% increments without refurbishment, without anything going on that is new. But we've seen this time and again. Maybe we'll see more, perhaps not. Now, but this day newspaper is what I'll sweep to now, to take a side swipe to this day newspaper. There's a story there that is quite catchy. It's topical, right? It's about Amkwiton, the new INEC chairman. He said something. You want to know what he said? It's on this day newspaper. It says, courts can't continue to decide election winners. It must be at polling units. That's coming from the new INEC chairman. It sounds like it. Yes, some would say, yes, that's exactly what we're saying. That's what we're talking about. But we get to see if it's just a talk or is able to walk the talk. All of that will be in the course of time, and we'll keep our fingers crossed on all of those things. Tinubu leads others in tribute for late statesman Christopher Kolade. Also a story on This Day newspaper this morning. I'll swipe away from This Day to The Nation. Why? I love listening to The Nation. I mean, The Nation newspaper, I love listening to it because I want to know what it's saying to The Nation Nigeria. Now, The Nation has on the front page and the big caption, Lamido attacks PDP governors over exclusion from chair race. That is also a story right there to check out this morning. Lamido attacks PDP governors over exclusion from chair race. That is also something. The PDP story, the chairmanship title, has been on the table of discourse. People have had different takes on this. Someone saying there's a weakism, there's a weakest sect, there's another sect that is willing to have the convention in Ibadan come November 15 and 16. All of that we are seeing as it is right now. And you can see on the Nation newspaper, you see the president with some generals, army generals right there, as we have that story. How DSS aborted Ulomi's shadow cabinet through legal process. That is also something to check out this morning. 885 delegates ratify Oyebanji's nomination. Also on the Nation newspaper. Something to check out this morning. Quite interesting, you would say. We'll get into the analysis in a short while. Meanwhile, I'll take the Punch story. The Punch newspaper has some stories to tell this morning. PDP consensus deal shatters as Lamido rejects Turaki. PDP consensus deal shatters as Lamido rejects Turaki. And of course, that's about tension ahead of conversation. Screening postponed indefinitely. Lamido heads to court. Turaki advances bid. Also something to check out this one. It's on chairmanship of the PDP. Still on the Punch newspaper, doctors mobilized for Friday strike amid 38 billion naira unpaid allowances. That is also a story right there, as you can see on your screen. Quite topical, you would say. We'll get into all of that as well. 92-year-old BS 8-term win sparks protest in Cameroon. We've seen that story also in the news right now. Cameroon, the election has been a thing to discuss. There's been conversations about the 92-year-old leader being at that particular phrase. And he's become the president yet again. Tinubu Osinbajo lead dignitaries to honor late Christopher Kolade. That is a thing to check out as well. We're seeing all of this in the meantime. I will keep tabs on every one of these as we also go ahead in the conversation today. Now, still taking one more story. Natasha broke penal code in attacks on Akpabio. The right top corner, the right-hand side of the Punch newspaper is where to catch up with that story. It says, Natasha broke penal code in attacks on Akpabio. Something to check out this morning. We'll check all of this in the course of this edition of newspaper headlines and analysis this morning. And of course, that's a good place to start the conversation. Shall we not this morning? We'll get right into some of the topics we have this morning. But I will not be doing that alone today, actually, because I have someone who's going to be helping us also into some of the conversations we have, you know, to check what we have with the newspapers and the stories that are making the rounds. With Victor Akinleye this morning, joining us this morning. This is Victor Akinleye. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
This morning. It's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Where do we start from? Maybe I should ask you, but of course, don't worry. We'll get into. Let's start with the PDP. Yes, okay. We've seen a lot of things happening around the PDP structure, the chairmanship title, the national convention. Everything has been in the know. We've seen, you know, there's a consensus deal that shattered as Lamido rejects Suraki. But let's get your comprehensive thoughts on this, Victor. What do you make of all of this PDP crisis? Is there an end to the storm? Or could there be an end? Or what should be the end to the storm?
The heads should sit down and discuss properly. And they should stop they should stop bringing themselves outside shamelessly. These are all big wigs in the community, in the political space. They just need to have a closed room discussion. All right? All of them, Saraki, Soludo, all these big names, they should have a behind closed doors meeting. No press, no press, no public. Yes, no publicity, no public interference, just them. If they will need to beat themselves, box themselves, say bad things to themselves, but then do all of that, set to it, and have one voice. And they come out with that one voice. That I feel is the solution to PDP.
So you think you are still one of the few persons who believe there's hope for the PDP?
There's hope. PDP is still used to be the longest serving democratic party in Nigeria, even not the entire Africa. So there's a hope. Come on.
Victor says there's hope for the PDP.
There's still a hope. There's still hope for a lying dog that is not dead. So there's hope for PDP. So the thing is,
don't leave me. Don't leave me. Actually, yes, we'll get into some other conversations now. I don't know your interest in PDP, but it's okay to say. Like
I don't like any party.
You don't belong to any party.
Believe you me, I just want good governance.
Yeah. Victor, let's get some more now. Tinubu and Osinbajo they've led a dignitary to honor late Christopher Kolade, and that's okay. But that's a story for the press. But let's talk about Natasha now. There's another, you know, it's like the dust is racing again. We've seen this dust settle, but now we're not seeing the settlement again. We are seeing Natasha broke penal code in attacks on Akpabio and Bello and the AGF. You know, Natasha, Akpabio, AGF, all of these stories coming together. I want you to have, you know, to just speak to this issue. Let me see what you think or what you make of the issue of Natasha, because there's been that conversation after she was brought back to the Senate House to say, will she now have a thought of her own? Will she be able to make reforms? Will she be able to say, to bring matters to the table, to say, this is what I'm bringing from my constituency, or this is what I'm proposing for the Nigerian state? Will she have a voice in that house, or what will become of Natasha and the Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and you know, Akpabio's issue?
It depends on her. Whatever she makes of it becomes what is made. Let me explain. So if she wants to live by PTSD, post-trauma syndrome, that's a problem. And if she wants to leave the past behind and be a good...
Did you just say PTSD? Yes. Like she suffered trauma, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The truth is, okay, let me say this. Back to PTSD. All of those that happened to her lately is a lot. Because you are not there does not mean it's something we should trivialize on. It's a lot. It's a lot. That's a whole chamber, the red chamber virtually 80 to 90% of the chamber was against her. That's a lot. That's a lot. For what she believes she stood for, what she believes she wasn't guilty of. So, I don't know if you speak Yoruba, but in Yoruba language, they would always say, meaning, no matter how bad it should be, there has to be one person that will still have your back. It looked like nobody had her back. It's a lot. So now, she coming into a space where she has potential enemies. So whatever happens there is what she makes. If she wants to live by the PTSD, well, if she then wants to say, I'm going to leave all this and I'm going to just be a good legislature, good for her. But then one thing is certain, till that parliament, till that house is dissolved, there will be issue with Akpoti and the house. Wow. Till Akpabio and Akpoti don't see themselves again in that house, all right? There will always be issue. So next Senate, maybe Akpabio will not be there.
11th Assembly.
11th Assembly, thank you. Maybe Akpabio will not be there and Akpoti will be there. It will be sweeter. Or Akpoti will not be there, Akpabio will be there. But if the 11th Assembly still has both of them,
Anyway, let's take that from you now to say, let's talk something that concerns me, you, and every other person, right? And that's security, or as you may like, insecurity, as some would call. Now, Tinubu presses new service chiefs for immediate action. Just like we saw on the Punch newspaper this morning, you saw the picture of Tinubu with some top officials of the military. And, you know, let's just speak very quickly to this issue. There's been allegations. There were allegations, people saying that at some point, about service chiefs, about say 14 or 11 of them were apprehended. And then the presidency came out to say it was just a military affair. And that was way before the, chief of army staff, or, there was a shake-up, let's just say a cabinet reshuffle at that particular sect. Some have said, could there be a chance that there's a coup plot? Because some have also said that even if the presidency said there's nothing like that, but for every lie, there's always an irony of truth, in a sense. So without what they call that stuff, like without a smoke or something, there's no fire, something.
Yeah.
So we can tell
without
there's something.
Fire, there's no smoke.
Definitely. So there's fire somewhere.
That's why we have
Or
smoke.
do you think there is no fire in that particular sect?
There's fire.
There's fire. Could there be a chance for a coup, or do you think there were chances of a coup attempt?
Very big one right there. So. What they said was there's a coup d'etat that was apprehended, all right? And whether it was against the presidency or it was just within the military, it means something very terrible is happening somewhere. The presidency is just trying to tone it down so that to keep the nation at ease. But I tell you the truth, it is hot in there. It is very, very hot in there. Shortly before the coup d'etat, there was supposed to be Independence Day parade. It was scrapped. So that parade hold, because why did the parade hold? It must have been that they are foreseeing something, or probably they are trying to be conscious of something. So there's fire on the mountain. That's all I will say. So once again, they are trying to play it as though there's no much to it, so that the nation can be at rest, so that we can go about our business and paint it to us as though the presidency is on top of his game and all that. Yeah, that may be true. That might be what they are doing indeed. But the truth is, there is fire on the mountain, and we must begin to run.
Before we run, let's run to INEC now. Anambra elections is fast approaching, very close by, November 8th. And Amukpiton, he came out to say something quite interesting. Amukpiton is the new INEC chairman, by the way. It says that courts can't continue to decide election winners. It must be at polling units. How feasible, possible, plausible is that?
It is possible if we do our work well. I've said this over and over. Once we begin to parties now begins to produce credible candidates, allow votes to count, then let the court focus on its job, other than.
So do you think it's more about the party system, the party structure, the party people, and not about the INEC?
No, it's not about the INEC.
So it's all about the parties.
Parties.
Tell us more.
It is what INEC would provide INEC would, okay, no, the parties and governments, anyways. So INEC will come to, how do I explain this in a very layman way? Okay, so INEC would do their job. Do you
Provide
know
election materials.
everything? They use call members. They don't know. Call members just go there with the materials, do what they ask them to do. Some of them, they bring gun to scatter polling units, and coppers will run. I had a friend there that almost, ran away, run for their lives, and they will scatter the whole place. They will take the ballot box away. Is that INEC? No. It's either the party or the government. So let's go further. There's sometimes government will go as far as, you know what, Mr. Whoever, this is what must happen. This is what we want. Your life or this. And then don't forget, the chairman or whoever the person is has a family, threatened with his family or whatever, then he has to sit down and dance to the tune. So it is not the INEC. It is the government. It is the parties.
Wow. I'm not sure I've heard it this way. I've heard many people say there's so much responsibility for Amukwiton. There's so much responsibility for INEC to discharge their duties. But like you've also mentioned, I think the points are taken quite clearly to say that it's not just the INEC particularly. What about the party system? What about the party people? What about those people disrupting the peace of electionary process?
Of course, we've been to polling booths where party delegates would come and meet you one-on-one and say, Oga, this is the party you should vote for, take money. Is that INEC too? So let's leave INEC out of this. Let's focus on the parties and the government itself.
But how do we check those malpractices with the party systems? How do we check into the party system and bring out the best way of handling matters?
Number one, God, if you believe in God. Number two, people like you and I should now begin to rise to leadership, be proactive, join political parties. I'm saying this again. If you're a good person, you think you are credible enough, begin to join political parties and begin to effect change within the party. All right? They won't give you voice, but keep talking. They might kill you. Sorry, I'm sorry, I don't want you to die, but one day we'll keep talking, we'll keep fighting, and then we'll one day dislodge all these bad guys, and the good guys will begin to emerge. It won't take 1 year, it won't take 5 years, but one day it will happen.
Wow, points taken very clearly this morning. Yes, let's take another story of interest. 885 delegates ratify Oyebanji's nomination. We've also we've spoken to this issue of, the nomination between the Ekiti APC. Now, about 885 delegates are ratifying Oyebanji's nomination. And we've also asked the question of how do we get to appoint our leaders? You quite mentioned something that's why I'm taking this story. You mentioned that parties should be able to present credible candidates, right? And so what does it really take, or what does it mean to an average Nigerian or an average party in the country to produce a credible? Because I can tell you I'm credible, Victor. I can say Victor Party is the party I want to VP party now is what I want to belong to. And I tell you I'm credible. How do you vet my credibility?
Precedents.
There are people who never had antecedents and precedents in the political space, but they've done something well in the other spaces. But how do you relate that to politics?
Politics is leadership. If you are holding any public space, any public office, it is leadership. So where you are coming from, have you been a leader, a prolific one, an enviable one, a respectable one, a credible one? Yeah. So that's point number one. Then point number two is how ready are you in person? How ready are you in person? We've seen. I've had a story growing up in Lagos State when a guy was picked because they feel he has people behind him. What's this word now? He's influential enough in the grassroots, and then they brought him into politics. Not educated, and then just because he has influence within the grassroots of his locality, they brought him into, and he was local government chairman for a while. You know what I'm saying now? He didn't do bad per se, but then check how ready is this very person that you are bringing in. So number one is credibility, not necessarily in the political space. Many politicians are not credible. Let me say that again. Many politicians are not credible. There are people doing so well in other spheres of life that would do so well in the public space, in political appointments, yes. So maybe we should also look into inviting people. If people won't come because they believe, yes, there's a natural belief everywhere in the world that politics is dirty, is deadly, you know, and then people just want to abstain. A young guy who tells his mother that I want to go into politics, the first thing the mother will say is, who is doing me? You feel what I'm trying to say now? So people would naturally want, some people, not everyone, some people will not naturally want to go into politics because of the deadliness and dirtiness of the game. But then politicians or political parties too could now begin to look into what you said. If I have a political party today, I may have to, or part of what I think I will do is invite credible people into politics. I'll just give them a letter, you know. You've been doing well in your space. You're a musician, yes, but you've been doing well. You do beautifully well. You are someone everybody loves. And I think if you come to the state's honorable, people will love you more, and I believe you will do more. And sir, I am guaranteeing your security and your family security and your assets security.
You might as well start thinking about Victor Party, maybe someday, somehow. Anyway, so let's take a story coming from Lagos now. There was, not a very good sight, a gory one in Lagos State, Shoki, and some other demolitions in Lagos. And of course, quite unfortunate that some people had to lose their lives, people had to lose properties. The people, now there are two sides to it, the community people, the people that are affected, the concerned persons, and then the government. The government came out to say through the police that they have already given notice that people are at fault, not them. But again, should we beg it does not beg the question of, is it morality now? Or should we say, when you see that there are people inside the structure still there, at least just try to help them get out first before you start demolition. Now, the story that is of interest, particularly is on Punch newspaper, says that collapsed Lagos building, occupants ignored distress signs. That's coming from some residents as well. The police also came out yesterday to warn a group of people, particularly Showore and his allies, to never protest on those demolitions. In fact, they said they put policemen, you know, in strategic locations. They mentioned quite a number of locations that they have manned police to ensure that there's no form of protest, that if anybody comes near that place, they are not going to take it lightly with them. So that's the case. But now, I want you to speak to the issue. Maybe you speak on behalf of the community people, the concerned people who probably lost something, or you speak about from the angle of the government to say, how well can we address these issues?
Okay, thank you. I will speak on both. So, government, no matter how terrible a government is, I'm 100% sure that there must have been an information earlier. There must have been an information earlier. So the government will not lie against them that after all we told you, you didn't pack early. So of course government told them. Shall we blame government? Necessarily no. Because eventually what government is doing is urbanization. It favors everyone on the long run. So should they demolish it now? Yes. If they have told them before. All right? So demolition now, having told them before, is not a bad one. So people, back to protest. Showore, do you not have another job? Must you go and protest at every national matter? The one that concerns you and the one that doesn't concern you? Can you please be more productive? Should we, after this generation, should we remember Showore as Mr. Protester? Come on. I think there are better things. That's it. So to the community now, I'm very pained, sorry for your loss and all that. But again, an average human being, especially Nigerians, they're always very adamant to change. The moment they told you, we are coming to demolish this place, that day, don't sleep. Start looking for a place to go. Number one. Number two, shall we also blame them? On the other hand, no. Maybe they don't have money to get another place. Maybe they don't have resources. Maybe that is the only asset they have and they don't have any other thing else anywhere. So in the bid of where do we go? We that we've not even fared 3 times well, how do we raise funds? And you know, rentage is costly. That real estate industry is highly expensive. So they really don't have anywhere to go, or they don't have anything to get a better space. So they might not be able to. So should we blame either? Nobody should we blame. We can't blame anybody. But thank God now the government is compensating some of them. So I think that's a good one for me.
Yes, yes, lastly, we'll take a story before I get out of here. Doctors mobilized for Friday strike amid 38 billion naira unpaid allowances. That's about the doctors and then the federal government. 38 billion naira unpaid allowances is quite a lot, but doctors are calling for this. They say they would go on the strike. That's the NARD are saying that they will go embark on the strike. But again, how much loss can we have when we have strokes, doctors going on strike? Well, how should we make it better? Because if we say that sector should be ignored, then a lot of lives will be lost.
It just shows that the government really don't care about the life of Nigerians. Because if doctors go on strike, people in the nation will fall sick, they will die and all that. But it's not affecting this government. It's not affecting the people in government. You know why? When they fall, just malaria, they fly abroad. So they really aren't feeling the pains an average Nigerian is feeling. Shall I say the doctors should go on strike? Yes. Yes. How do you want them to feed? That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot of money. You are still on ASU's issue. Now the doctors, is this government really working? That's the question we should even ask. What really is the government doing? You are owing ASU, you are owing doctors. Education sector, health sector, then what are you doing? It's a major question that even Nigeria, we should start sitting and start thinking, wow, let's call ourselves to order. What is this government doing? Health sector issue, education sector issue. So what are they really doing? They too should now sit down and think, what are we really doing? Who are we governing over? What are we governing? Say, what policies are we creating? So for me, I would say the doctors should go on strike.
All right, Akile, Victor, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's been a wonderful conversation with you this morning. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you, sir.
And of course, yes, the big story comes right up with Samson Balogun. Stay with us after this break. We'll have the big story.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, good morning and welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live, where we explore the conversations. And of course, we bring to you so many things that interest you on this show. Don't forget, this is Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Of course, we'll bring you conversations that matter most to your world today. In an era where our lives are increasingly connected, from online banking and shopping to social media and remote network. The question is no longer, are you online, but are you safe online? Today we are diving into a critical discussion, how to stay safe in the digital age. Everyday habit for cyber hygiene. Your digital safety is only as strong as your daily habits. And today we'll learn how to build those habits the right way. Samson Balogun is my name, and thank you for staying tuned. Now, let's get straight into it. According to the Nigerian Communication Commission, over 150 million Nigerians access the internet daily, a number that continues to rise as smartphones and digital services become more accessible. But with the digital expansion comes increased vulnerability. Reports show that Nigerians, and of course Nigeria loses about 200 billion naira annually to cybercrime, ranging from phishing scams to data breaches and online fraud. Across the world, experts warn that human error, weak passwords, careless clicks, oversharing remains the biggest threat to cybersecurity. That's where today's conversation is timely. We are focusing on cyber hygiene, the simple, consistent habits that keep your digital life clean and secure. All right, joining us to unpack this is Isaac Afolabi, an experienced cybersecurity analyst who works with an international organization to protect critical digital systems and data from evolving threats. Beyond his day job, Isaac is passionate about cybersecurity education and community awareness. He has hosted sessions on radio and volunteered across communities to teach people practical steps to stay safe online. His mission is clear: to make cybersecurity knowledge accessible to everyone, empowering individuals to guard themselves in this over-connected world, and of course, we can say ever-connected world. Today, we'll explore some practical questions. How can we recognize online threats before they catch us off guard? What are the safest habits for our passwords, social media, and devices? And how can individuals and organizations stay proactive rather than reactive in defending their data? Stay tuned. It's going to be an eye-opening discussion, and most definitely there's a lot to talk about on this show this morning. Isaac, good to have you in the studio.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on this show this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much for
And
having me.
as I said earlier, it's going to be an eye-opening one for our viewers out there.
Right.
But let's start from this end. What is cybersecurity?
Thank you very much, Samson. My name is Isaac Afolabi, a cybersecurity analyst. And in a layman's language, I will put it that cybersecurity is the protection of our digital lives and our assets. For example, before you came here this morning, or before you slept last night, you probably locked your gates, you locked your car, you locked your front door. Some even lock the door of their rooms. They are protecting themselves and their assets. So same thing comes online. We need to learn to protect ourselves from cyber crime, cyber attacks, and every other form of attacks that comes in. So basically, I just want to put it in that simple term.
Now let's move on to cyber hygiene. What is cyber hygiene?
Well, it's still intertwined with what I just said. So cyber hygiene is also more like protecting yourself from unforeseen circumstances online, such as protecting your passwords and the like. So basically, that's the way I would just put it as cyber hygiene.
Okay, now let's delve straight into the heart of today's topic. And there's so much to talk about, especially when it comes to cyber hygiene. Now, how would you describe the current state of cybersecurity awareness among everyday internet users in the country as we speak?
In the country, well, I would say it's very low, because most people, when you tell them, for example, let me say, most people, when you tell them do not use public Wi-Fi, or if you use public Wi-Fi, you should at least be connected to a VPN. Most people feel like it's stress. It is not needed. That's one thing everybody thinks. They think they are safe because they are not the point of interest, but they do not understand that there could be a cumulative form of attack that involves you if you are not protected.
So some believe cybersecurity mainly for organizations and not for individuals. So what's the difference? So because it's a belief, it's a general belief out there, and some people will think, oh, I don't really care. It's for organizations who have so many things to guard, and it doesn't really affect me.
Yes, that's a very true statement. Most people believe cybersecurity is for the experts, it's for the organizations, the big companies, the big tech companies, and the likes. But bringing it into play, cybersecurity is, as long as you have your data online, like you have some mobile applications you registered on, some social media applications you registered on using your details. Literally, you need to understand the basics of cybersecurity, how to protect yourself online. So I'm here to cut short the myth that cybersecurity is just for IT experts. It's not for IT experts. Yes, IT experts will be the one to help you protect your data, protect the data of the big organizations, but each individual have a role to play when it comes to protecting themselves online.
So now let's get straight into it. What are the basic cybersecurity hygienes that individuals, organizations, businesses can actually go into that will make their data get safe?
Okay, let me just give like 3 or 4 instances, or 3 or 4 points rather. Starting from passwords, I can say you might also be a victim. Most people use passwords because most people use big passwords because they feel it is convenient for them.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, easy to remember for them. And what they don't just even stop there by using big password. They now use it across all accounts. So from
Same
their
password for all
accounts, and that is one cyber hygiene that most people are not practicing today in Nigeria. You need to understand that your password could actually be breached. You are not, like I said earlier, you might think you're not the point of interest, but there might also be a cumulative attack, and if your password is not strong enough, you might also be affected. And what I tell people is, we are human, we are liable to forget. So I tell them that what they should do is ensure that you have a password manager. A password manager helps you keep all your passwords in one place. When you have a complex password, it's difficult for you to remember 2, 3, 4, 5 complex passwords.
Different passwords.
So it's best to have a password manager. When you put it in there, and literally it saves. So all you just need to remember from time to time is just the password to your password manager. So that way you are protecting yourself from any unforeseen circumstances of any cyber attack. And another instance I would say is, which I mentioned earlier, is the public Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Most people connect to public Wi-Fi and they use it to open their sensitive information, such as their banking apps and the like. So it is very wrong because you do not know. Okay, let me start by saying this. In Nigeria, we like free things. We like free things. Free giveaway, free data, free everything. If it is free, they do not care how it's coming. They want it. Most people walk miles to just for free data, use free. So things like that are not cyber. They are not the rules of the cyber hygiene. You need to protect yourself at all instances because you do not know the free passwords. You do not know who is behind those passwords and who is behind those Wi-Fi rather. So for example, I tell people when you go to airports, to public places especially, when you go to airports, to restaurants, to hotels, to apartments, schools, you should learn to protect yourself when you're in such an environment. But most people just feel like they want the free thing, they like it and all that. So it's not a good cyber hygiene. Yeah, it's not safe. And another point I'll give again is most people tend to ignore cybersecurity. Most people tend to ignore software updates. They feel like it's not necessary. Why should they update their devices and all that? That's a very wrong perspective when it comes to cyber hygiene. For example, in 2017, there was a ransomware that actually hit Windows users.
Okay.
Windows users, and that was because Windows released an update, but because most people did not update their devices, they were exploited through the previous version of Windows in 2017, and a whole lot really happened. Companies lost millions of dollars into that just because of that simple attack. So, as simple as it is, update your devices regularly. And one thing I will always say is, whenever I tell people to update their devices, I tell them, when your phone gives you a notification that a software update is available, do not rush to update your devices.
Okay.
Because here is the thing. When you rush to update your devices, those softwares are built by humans like you, not AI yet. Most softwares are built by humans, so it's bound to have vulnerabilities and bugs. So most people, you should actually take their time. When they release those updates, is the feedback they get, they will use to work on the updates before they push out another update. So always give it time, give it like few weeks, 2-3 weeks before you now update the device. So it's not like you get a notification today, you are rushing to update it because you want to keep yourself safe. Although you might be safe, and there might also be some form of bug or vulnerabilities in those softwares.
How about some devices that are on auto updates?
Yeah, you should actually remove your devices on auto updates.
Okay.
You should actually remove it. It's your device. You should learn to monitor it. So basically, that's just for the cyber hygiene in those aspects I just mentioned.
So you spoke about passwords. How often should an individual change, update passwords?
Yeah, thank you very much. I forgot to mention that you should change your passwords regularly, irrespective of the fact that you use password manager. Change your password every 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
It's a culture to protect yourself online. Change your password every 3 to 6 months. So that way you are protecting yourself from unforeseen circumstances or any form of cyber attack in any way. So
now there is a case of carelessness too. Some people do not care. They give their passwords to different people per time. Even ATM cards, everyone knows some people's ATM card passwords. They just give it to people who get me some money, and that's it. Is that hygiene?
No, that's not hygiene, because whoever the person is you are giving your ATM card to help you withdraw, you can equally transfer to the person to withdraw for you. Okay. So I tell people that for your ATMs, some people just have seen scenarios where people just wake up in the morning like this and they are getting debit alerts. You don't even know. Those people did not even give their ATM cards to anybody, and they are wondering, okay, where is this debit coming from? I did not make any form of payment online, this and that. So coming to that, I usually tell people you should not use your ATM if it is not in banks. Okay. Because because if it's not in banks, you should literally not use your ATM, because well, we have a lot of agents around, so you do not per se, you just rush in there and I want to withdraw money, I want to withdraw. It's literally not safe, because if anything goes, because those machines could actually, some people manipulate their machines, okay, and
you get programs
to not just passwords, but to save the information of your
details
of your ATM card. So it's best most of the time, whenever you need urgent money and all that, you should actually learn to make a fast transfer. It's best that way. That's another form of cyber hygiene that I believe most people make those mistakes. Actually, I was also doing that. Okay. But literally, we learn every day. We learn every day. So you should actually learn to ensure that you take note of these things. They are very important, because, like I said earlier, you would think you're not the point of interest until you become the point of interest. Then you would understand that you're not safe. Okay,
and now how can one identify and avoid phishing mails?
Well, okay, let me put it like this. For phishing mails, I receive phishing mails a lot. I receive phishing mails a lot. But for people out there, one thing you should always do is, if it is an email that comes in, do not be in a rush to read the email. No matter where you are or how urgent you feel the information you need is, always read an email 2 to 3 times, no matter how long it is, no matter how compelling it is. some people, there are some sentences attackers put into an email that would push you, that will give you a sense of urgency, a sense of action to take immediately. Okay, sometimes last week I received an email. It was a genuine email because I had to do my findings before I clicked on anything. I had to do my findings. I received the email. It was a sense of urgency from an application that I use, but I was furious about it, and I had to do some further research, do some further investigations on it before I decided that, okay, I think it's a real email. So my point is to identify real emails. It will always tell you it will push to you a fear of urgency. Number one. Number two, there might be some grammatical errors, but attackers are getting smarter daily now. You can easily use AI to put together the English. Number two. Number three, whenever you receive an email, always look into the drop down. When you look into the drop down, where you see you look for the sender's email. When the sender email, try to confirm if it is legit from the sender, because you might have been receiving emails from that particular organization or application. So you would know if it is a genuine email. Some might be something.xyz. You should obviously know it is not coming from the real organization. So that way, people should actually, because in Nigeria, we have a very high rate in which people click phishing links. Even people working in organizations, even cybersecurity experts do that. They click phishing mails. So, and I believe most organizations now in Nigeria, what they do is they do phishing campaigns for their staff, and they ensure their staff run through trainings on how to understand phishing emails and ensure that they do not click it. So apart from those trainings, they also do phishing simulations. When you do the training, they will do the simulation to understand it, to know if you understand the training you just took. So when you click the malicious mail again, you go back to the training again and again. So that's what they do in most organizations in today's world in Nigeria.
All right. Some of us live on our phones.
Yes.
It's basically one of the live kits we have that are very important, and some of us cannot do without the phone because practically the office is on the phone. Right. Now, if you are the type who uses your phone so much, how important is two-factor authentication and so many other tips that one can actually use to stay safe online?
Okay, yeah. About the two-factor authentication, I would say it is as important as you using a complex password. It's equally important, because the password you think you created and you think is complex can also be breached. Okay. So, but once the password is breached and you have a two-factor authentication enabled, you should actually, you would obviously, because when the password is breached, it will require the two-factor authentication before the user is allowed. So, but if the two-factor authentication is not there, obviously you've granted the user free entry. So for most people now, what they do is, I tell most people, what you should do is ensure you use two-factor authentication on all your applications. If it is finance, if it is your finance app or your social media apps, because you might think your social media app is not important since it is not your financial application, and then look into it and say, okay, it is not my financial application, I do not need. But you do not know that people, they can actually get into your social media apps and coerce people to send them money, because they will obviously believe it is you. Right. They will obviously believe it is you. So that's just it. Thank you.
Well, how can before we go, how can one know that the device has been hacked?
How can one know?
What are the things you notice that, oh, my phone has been hacked?
The thing is, your phone in the actual sense cannot be hacked. I would not say it cannot be hacked, but it requires a level of advanced technology to want to hack just an individual. But you understand, like some applications can be hacked some other things on your devices can be hacked. But let's put it in the layman's language that let's say your phone device is hacked. What you should do is ensure you always change your password. Okay. Whenever your device or your social or any account is hacked, ensure you try to change your password, your device password or the application's password. Ensure you change the password, since that's what we talked about, two-factor authentication. Because on your phone, you obviously more like have two-factor authentication. You have your Face ID, you have your password, you have your fingerprint and the likes. So those are different forms of authentication on your device. So what I tell people is, whenever you know that, okay, an account of yours has been hacked on your device, ensure that you change the password to that account. Ensure you change the password, you reset the password to that account. That way it will give you leverage, to give you time, it will buy yourself time. You would literally buy yourself time to take other actions before anything happens.
Now, what is the role of the government in all of this?
Well, I would say I do not want to I do not want to say the government are not making much efforts, because you see, cybersecurity is it has evolved so much that even secondary school students that use devices understand how these things work. You understand? So one thing I believe they should do is, government should do is, they should inculcate this into curriculums in secondary schools. One of the things I do is I go to secondary schools to talk about cybersecurity. So one thing they should do is inculcate, one thing the government should do is inculcate cybersecurity in their curriculum, so that those students will understand what the outside world is when they leave secondary school. Because you understand, the university is a different program on its own. So they should learn to understand what it is from the they should learn to understand the basics. When they understand the basics, they can literally further on it once they leave secondary school. So that's one thing I know the government has not been doing. They've not been empowering the youths, or I would say the teenagers, let me put it like that way, the teenagers in that aspect. So I believe the government should work on that.
Okay, before we go, Isaac Afolabi, what's your 2 cents for our viewers this morning?
On cybersecurity?
Right.
Thank you very much. So, like I said, keep yourself safe online. As long as you might think you're not the target, but as long as you have your data, you have your mobile device, you registered on some applications, you're equally more like a target. So do not write it off. Ensure you stay safe. Do not click links online because it's saying this is free, that is free, there's a free job somewhere, there's a free data somewhere. I know people do that broadcast a lot. There's a free data somewhere, so you should learn not to click it. Always verify the source. Have zero trust in anything you do. Have zero trust in anything you do or you see online. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being on the show this morning. It has been an eye-opening session with you.
Thank you very much.
We'll to bring you back some other time to discuss further on cyber security on this style.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Isaac, for joining us on the show. And that's where we draw the curtain on the big story today. Remember, cybersecurity starts with you. And of course, every strong password, and of course, every cautious click, and every software update counts towards building a safer digital community. A big thank you to my guest this morning, Isaac Afolabi, for sharing his insight and reminding us that staying safe online isn't just for IT experts. It's a shared responsibility. Until next time, I'm Samson Balogun, reminding you that think before you click and stay secure as you stay connected. This is The Big Story on Daybreak Live.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok @Dominion Broadcast and on X @DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of next level broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Now we move straight to trending stories. And before we do that, let's talk about what we discussed earlier. I mean, cybersecurity. So many people tend to, overlook some things. I was guilty of some of the things he said. Keeping one password for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, it's really, and also having the same password for. I mean, it's not like I have same password across board, but 2, 3, 4 different applications I have the same password, and about 2, 3 other ones the same password. But it's just like that. I think almost everyone can be said to be guilty of that.
That's why we need to have these conversations, right? We need to, help ourselves understand what we should do better, right? Like if I didn't know this, until recently when he spoke, I know people who you can almost guess their password if you know their
If you know their names, their date of birth,
you can almost tell this is. So some people don't like hard life; they love the soft life. Well, the soft life can become a problem to you. Can make your life hard if you don't mind these things. That's why we need to have.
There was a temporary software I was to use, I think, a few days ago. So I wanted to use. I think even some applications and softwares now are now against soft passwords. They will tell you it is too easy.
They want
so try a new one. Put characters, numbers, alphabets. Just make it complicated because they want to protect you as much as they want to protect themselves. Because if you are well protected, their own software or applications are also protected. So once I tried a very straightforward password, and they are like, no, you can't use this one. You have to try a new password. So I had to create a new password entirely. And my fear was that I might not remember the password because I have so many passwords to think about.
If you just open the mind of many Nigerians.
My takeaway, you must have a password manager where you keep all your passwords, and that one too is passworded.
Passworded.
The one that you really have to be worried about is the password to the password manager. Once you have that, you are okay.
Let me add to what you've said. It's become imperative to have this knowledge now that technology has advanced. With the advancement of technology comes the infiltration of other, so as they develop this technological equipment, facilities, and all of these things that we're
people will look for the different ways. There's always a lacuna.
A loophole somewhere. They'll find a way to plug and but I think it's very important that we have this kind of things so that you don't wake up. I remember one day, this is a personal story. My mom called me and she was like, Anu, did you request for something? I said, I did not want me. If I get to get a guy who is a what do you call those people? All these technological savvy kind of people. I think it's cybersecurity guy. Yeah, so he helps mommy to do some firewall protection and some other stuff because obviously, so the people are the receiving end of these things.
I think
like
the targets
very aged people.
Yes,
so they find
prey
a way
on their vulnerability.
Exactly. So they tell them, just send me this and this. Mommy, you've won something. Mommy, you can never win something you did not play for.
Right.
But many Nigerians will not. If you didn't play, like if my ogas didn't play bet, they will not get the money from bet. I'm saying that because if some people just want to get anymore, congratulations, and where are you calling from? I'm calling from Kiniko.
Especially when you stake on basketball. I mean,
what's that? I'm not privy to that information. But anyway, it's just the same way we should understand that what you did not sow, you should not reap. Even if it becomes like it's real, sometimes just give it away. Don't stress it.
I think the most important thing is, you get messages like, oh, you have won so. I mean, you have not played anything. You have not staked on anything. So why would you win what you have not played? So it's very important that, I mean, Yorubas, there's a usual saying in Yoruba. I will say it in Yoruba and then, coin it in English. I mean, whatever it is you are doing, no matter how much you like money, just be in charge of your whatever it is you are doing. I mean, be in charge. You shouldn't like money too much that you forget that you are probably going astray. I mean, that should be there should be a cap to where you push yourself to when it comes to money. But moving on to trend watch.
I wanted to say before we move on, but just quickly, stake your stake before you win your wins. Don't come and tell us stories.
That's very important. And you have to talk to Michael about that in case you want to train. If you want to train about that particular one, stake your stake and win your win. That is very important. But moving on, let's go to the world of AI. It's about tech today actually, and Albania's AI minister Dila pregnant with 83 babies. I mean, that's quite massive. Albania became the first country around the world recently to appoint an AI as a minister in a cabinet that has human beings in it. So she became the first AI minister across the world. And what happened is that there is news that she's pregnant. And let me go into details.
Yes, give us some details.
Let me go into details. In a world first twist, Albania's artificial intelligence AI minister Gila is set to give birth to 83 virtual assistants, one for each ruling socialist party. Now, Prime Minister Edi Rama announced that the development at the Berlin Global Dialogue Conference, saying the children will serve as digital aides during parliamentary sessions. Each one will serve as an assistant, keeping a record of everything that happens and suggesting responses to members of the parliament. Okay, so Rama also says that these children will have the knowledge of their mother. He added that AI offspring will help MPs with daily tasks until 2026. If you go for coffee and forget to come back to work, this child will tell you what was said when you were not in the hall and who you should counterattack.
This is a big deal. You know why it's a big deal? Because I saw a clip of somebody in China that went to a restaurant that was AI powered completely. So from the other, but you'll probably meet one person or two, but every other person you interface with is, so you say a bot will just come to your table.
What would you like
what would you like for today? And then you say, I need a wuro and a pho. And then it says, thank you, your request has been processed. And then it goes back. And then it brings the plate literally
to you.
There's a line connected. It brings the plate to you. It brings your coffee, like I'm staring at my coffee like this. It brings it to your very face. And then you get to take it yourself. No, now this is the case. A lot of improvement is coming on board. But this also begs the question that, will AI displace people? Because if you have AI serving tables, the job that most people depend on, what happens to those people who depend on?
If AIs are becoming assistants to MPs and becoming ministers, it shows that a time will come that will be virtually ruled in some countries, especially maybe it will start with Albania anyway. I don't think that will happen in Nigeria anytime soon. But the thing is, when I mentioned that 83 babies, people might think, oh, but then they are virtual babies anyway, so you have to relax.
Yeah, because obviously some would say in a world where some people are already looking for babies, how can you have 83 babies inside of your stomach?
Inside of you.
How big is your stomach?
And then I think it will come to an era where we will have lazy thinkers on the floor of the house. I mean, what's your responsibility when the simplest of your thinking is done for you by an AI? I mean, the simplest task you should do by yourself is done by an AI. It has gotten to a stage where when you are not on seat, you have just stepped out to take coffee and you are back, and then there was a motion moved, was moved in your absence. It tells you what was said, and then if someone had an opinion different to what you would have, said while you were not on seat, it will tell you, please counter so person who says so thing in your absence. I mean, well, in a way, it has simplified legislation, but in a way, it has made it more complex. Now, why would human beings be available right on their seats, and then the only thing they do is to just sit there, AI does the job? I mean, it will get to a stage where, some people are already afraid that AI will take their jobs. I mean, computers will take their jobs, and it is happening. You remember there was a time during the 90s, we had bankers with a lot of papers on their desks, on their tables, and then the time came where computers were done. So people who were file assistants, who were carrying files in the banking hall, they were retrenched. One way or the other, they were retired. Whether you like it or not, you have to go because nobody needs you to carry papers. All that is needed is for a computer to be powered every morning, and then jobs are done. They are transferred from one. Networking has made it so easy. It is transferred from one system to the other. You don't even need to stand from your seat before you mail someone to get an assignment done for you. Probably sign it virtually, send it back to you, and then you move it to the next person. So it has been simplified one way or the other, but that still doesn't mean that. See, no matter how big an AI is, it still needs to be prompted. Someone still has to be at the back end. But the only thing is, instead of 4 or 5 people doing that job, it might just be one person taking that responsibility. So it has not taken away the job, it has reduced the job. The job.
Now, let's see it from this way, because there are different ways to see issues like this. You might want to come from the angle of people to say, I hope this does not displace the work of people. But it can also come from the angle of, say, it can make our lives easier. Because
and make you better as an individual.
It depends on, so let's see it as a way to say, okay, how can we better some things that we don't have that are working well? How can we make it better with AI? How can we put AI to good use, you know, to make the best of this particular. I think it's something that many African countries have not really woken up to.
Right.
And it might take some time, it might take a while for us to get there, but we'll get there. Because I'm a strong proponent of the African state. I believe there's something coming for us, something big that will happen someday, somehow, for us in the country. Now, I'm also saying that sometimes we just need to give credit to those people who will not sleep, who will not wait, who will not tire to ensure that something new, some innovation is coming out every day. Because where do if we start thinking about these kind of things, then we can also say, okay, what are the things we can do that will strike global conversations? What are the things we can also bring that will be an African initiative, but that will be loud enough? You know, it could be technology too. Thank God, we have amazing technological people in the country. We have smart developers, all of this back-end, front-end developers in the country that are doing excellently well. But a lot of them also work for international companies, which is a question. Remotely. Now, what if we pump some money into that particular sector to say, let's get something for Nigeria, even if it's just to have enough data? Because I've always said again and again, one of the big problems we have in this country is lack of data. So if you say you want to do anything, any reform, anything in Nigeria, you need data. Even in the world, you need data. So, but we don't have this data. Unfortunately, most of the data we have, the database we have, are not even ours. Sometimes you see the World Bank, sometimes you see some international bodies having data that we do not have, we are not privy to. And you ask the question, of course we know they have people who work for them in the country. But again, when can we make this the best use of AI? When can we make the best use of this in technological advancements in life and ensure that we use it to the good or the betterment of this country, Nigeria?
You see, before we go shortly, when you see advanced countries coming up with something new on a daily basis, you can but love them for what they are doing, and that is because they have made continuous research part of their routine, and they don't just research. Researches are being funded on a daily basis. It's an investment, because when the result comes out, it makes you stand out, and you are going to reap, get multiple effect of whatever it is you have invested in, in the research. One of the challenges our lecturers, students are facing in Nigeria is there's no funding for research. And you spoke about Nigeria relying heavily on data from so many research organizations abroad. It's because we have refused to fund research in the country. The Bureau of Statistics is there. They do basically research. And they ask people questions. Oh, what exactly? How do you think we get research about, of course, result about what inflation looks like in the country and at what percentage? It's because they go through this research. But can we just stop doing this on a monthly basis and then do a weekly assessment of what the economy looks like? It requires funding. Do they get funded that much? I don't think so. Now, if you go to institutions, there are so many brilliant minds across board that can actually go into research and get things done. Will they be funded to get all this? Most of them rely heavily on international grants. They rely heavily on grants that might not even come. So most of them have written letters to the government and they say, oh, look, we have an idea to do this, but we need to go through research and see how best this can be carried on. And this is one of the reasons why education has really not moved forward in this part of the country. But going back to Albania this morning, let's take some comments from...
So taking the first comment, it's Tega Dominic, says, Abi rapture don't happen.
Well, actually, that's what happens when you fail to read the body of the story. Probably thought, they are actual babies, but they are not actual babies. They are AI babies. Then Castromento says, who's their daddy? Well, that's a question we have to ask the Albanian Prime Minister.
Happy Uko's comedy says, this one don't pass that India and Nigeria match story. 99.
People are so funny. And Bella Explore says, who will pay their tuition fees, their school fees by? I mean, well, it's another question.
No, Obey Lino G. I mean, what's this? Sorry if I didn't call your name well. Not be me, una go give Edeko.
Another one says, una no watch Terminator. That's where we are going. People who have a series of comments on social media, but it is important and pertinent that you know that these are not actual babies, actually. They are AI babies. They will have the mind of the original AI. They can think alike, think the same way, or maybe better in some cases. but then they are just virtual assistants to MPs on the floor of the House in Albania. And this will be the convenient point to draw the curtains of on today's edition of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. All I want to say to you this morning is that you have to stay hygienic on social media. Your cyber hygiene is very, very important. Take your cyber security seriously, just like myself here. Samson Balogun is my name. Let's meet again tomorrow on another fresh edition of this show. Bye for now.
And I would say invest in knowledge so we can have AI babies in Nigeria someday, somehow, especially for the tech guys. Thank you very much for doing this. My name is Anulu Akwedowu. It's been a wonderful time with you this morning. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.